Hey everybody, Timmy Mac here, and today I'm going to show you how I made this leather sheath for this whittling knife, and I'm not even a leather worker. It shows. Oh, one other thing, I had a lot of ambient noise in the camera audio, so I'm doing this all voiceover. I'm just giving you a heads up. So let's get to it. Okay, let's get started. I didn't draw a template. I just measured the knife and grabbed a piece of leather and cut it into a rectangle. Make sure that the knife would fit in there deep enough. This is 7 to 8 ounce shoulder leather. It's kind of an overkill for this little thing, but it's the only thing that I had. I'm not a leather maker. I went to the store and I bought a shoulder. It was on sale. Here's my little Jimmy Ding sausage fingers trying to put a crease in it. Ended up cutting a groove on the inside just to help it fold over. And fitting the knife again to make sure. Here I'm drawing in the lines that I'm going to use that thread tool or whatever it is. I don't know what you call it. It's what you cut the groove in so that your thread will sit flush with the top of the surface. It's a pretty cheap piece of equipment. You know, you buy something off the internet, you get what you pay for. I've seen some guys use it. They're looking at some really nice tools that actually cut the leather out. I think all this did was just emboss it down in the surface. I'm going like, hey, well, there it is. What do y'all think? Okay, now I have these punches that came with this kit. I don't like these things. I think they're not spaced far enough apart, little tines. But it's all I had, so I used it and made it work. Now I'm getting ready to wrap up this knife in saran wrap. Protect it so when it's stuck in that leather after I wet it down, the blade won't rust. Okay, I'd stepped into the kitchen and soaked the leather down real good. Stuck the knife in there and started pressing it down to shape it. You know, you got to be real careful. Your fingernail will put a crease in that leather, and it's real hard. I probably should have had some rubber gloves on or something like that. But I'm down there shaping it, making sure that it fits tight to the handle and is pretty snug. Everything. Now I'm getting ready to clamp it up. I had some scraps sitting there, so I didn't want to mar the surface because I was going to put some spring clamps on it. So a spring clamp there and another on the end. And then I ended up using one of those little craft clamps on the tip. And then I set it aside to dry. Okay, here I've jumped ahead to dyeing leather. I only have one coat on there. That's a crimson red, and it wasn't dark enough for me, and I'm using a little lamb's wool dauber to apply that thing. Just rubbing it in there, trying to get a little bit darker. Kind of like that color. Slathering that stuff on. Okay, now I'm getting ready to stitch it. Well, I've been stitching it. I made a mess trying to learn how to saddle stitch, so I just went back and just straight line stitched it. I had cobbled together that pony because I needed something to hold it. So I've got a sketch that's going to be coming up soon that I did, so I knew what the hell I was doing. But go in one side and come back the other. Pull it with a pair of pliers. And these were not stitching needles. These were just regular needles, and that was one of the problems that I had. Well, I took it out. Said, huh, there it is. Fits good. Doesn't fall out. Not yet. Need to burn those ends off. Here's the sketch I drew up. Had some extra old pine, 1x4 pine laying around shop and some hardware. So I cobbled this thing together so I'd have something to clamp up. And also use future projects. Here I am just hammering down the threads. They weren't lying really. Wouldn't call that a groove that the threads were lying in. And then just singeing the edges off. You really can't see it, but I'm trying to make a final cut. Wasn't exactly parallel. The thread line wasn't exactly parallel. So I'm trimming it down and trying to get a little bit square. Here I just said, hell with it, I'm just going to freehand it. Because I think I'd cut the other side a little bit too close. Should have had a sharper blade in there. It's looking okay. It'll be functional. Then I cut that corner off. And then I grabbed a piece of 150 grit sandpaper just to sand down the edges. Now I'm using some edge dye. It's a black, just to get that on there before I start burnishing the edges. I'm using a Q-tip so I didn't make a mess. And there it is, sort of kind of finished. It's functional. It's just to protect the knife blade when it's in the tool kit, the work kit. But probably should have dyed the inside, made it look a little bit more finished. And I'm burnishing the edges, getting them smooth. You know, I'm all new to this. And like with any other thing, you know, we need to have the right tools. I think right now I probably have a little bit more than $100 invested in everything that I've purchased. Dyes, daubers, thread, needles. But that's it. There it is. Fun, fast, and easy. See how close those stitches are to the edge underneath my thumb? But I am the Maker Apprentice. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. See ya.